This is attorney and business mentor Bob Diamond. Maybe you've seen me on Fox, NBC, Flip This House, or another major media. Today, I'd like to tell you about what I call the world's greatest business, something I stumbled upon back in 2011. It's a huge multi-million-dollar opportunity that is wide open to anyone, with the potential to help those involved create a great income, all while helping people who truly need the help. You can do it without the typical risks of most businesses too. Risks like putting up a lot of money or getting a business loan, hiring a bunch of staff and being responsible for payroll, renting an office and paying for equipment, or anything risky like that. This is so much easier and requires none of those hassles. Just learn how and put in the work, and you can have your own business up and running and providing you with a great income. Many other people who have taken this on and put in the effort are making great money. They recover money and generally keep 30 to 40% of what they recover for their efforts. Sherry recovered a check for $9,797, which means that she kept over $3,000 for herself and her business. Jack recovered $34,716, and that means he kept over $10,000 for himself. And Kenny, well, he hit it really big, recovering $98,379, meaning that he earned over $30,000 for himself. I'll tell you how they did it and how others are doing it in just a moment. Now, you probably know how inflation has, inflated the price of everything. You go to the grocery store, the gas station, your favorite restaurant. Prices have just skyrocketed across the board, and it makes it really tough for some people just to make ends meet. But what if there was a way to bring in enough extra cash so none of that inflation matters? Now, I'm not talking about working extra hours at your job or taking another shift here and there, or certainly not talking about getting a second job. I'm talking about you doing something from the comfort of your own home, where each deal takes about 8 to 10 hours to complete and has the real possibility of generating 4 and 5-figure checks for you. Now, there are plenty of deals waiting for you, and this is a great side hustle where you can help people who are literally stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you get paid great money for doing it. Now, before I tell you how it works, let me explain how I accidentally came across this amazing opportunity, because it's very instructive and you'll see why so few people know about this. Now, I've been an attorney since 1995, and my focus has always been on real estate. And I'm also a real estate investor. But even I had no idea that this $1 million opportunity, which is really on the fringes of the real estate market, even existed. So anyway, a new client walked to my office and he'd lost a piece of land at tax sale. He wanted to see if he could get his piece of land back. Unfortunately, I went over the foreclosure file with absolutely a fine-tooth comb, and I just couldn't find any legal basis to undo that tax sale. He had received notice of the sale, all the T's were crossed, the I's were dotted, and honestly, I didn't want to waste my client's money, my time, pursuing something that I saw just literally had no chance of success. But I did notice something really interesting in that foreclosure file, and that gave me an idea. An idea that would eventually lead me down this very, very profitable path that I'm on today. Although I didn't see a legal angle to undo the tax sale and to get his land back, I did notice that his property had sold for tax sale, or had sold at tax sale, for about $12,000 more than he owed on it. And I thought to myself, my client should really get back that extra money. After all, the county had collected the proceeds of the tax sale, and they'd been paid everything that they were owed out of that tax sale. So I thought, that $12,000 that's left over, that really should go to my client, because he was the former owner of the property, and that extra money represented his equity in the property. So to make a long story short, after a little effort, I was able to get him the $12,000 in extra money left over. And he was so appreciative, because he really thought all was lost. And yet I was able to get him money that he had no idea existed. Now, I didn't think a lot of it. It was just another matter that I handled for a client. It was successful. I was happy. A client was happy, and it was all good. So I just continued about my day-to-day business of being a real estate attorney, helping clients buy, sell, and lease properties. But a couple of years later, a friend of mine told me that he was doing this business that he called tax overages. Now, he described what he did, and I was like, wait a minute. I did one of those for a client, but I never thought of this as a business. That was just something I successfully did as an attorney. But I did also remember how unhappy my client and how sad he was over losing his property at tax sale, and how happy he was when I got him this $12,000 in unexpected money just when he thought all was lost. Now, I personally love helping people. Maybe you do too, I don't know. And I thought if there's a way to make my everyday business helping people who think all is lost because their property is lost to tax sale to get unexpected windfalls, now that would be an amazing business that I would absolutely love. So I asked my friend all about this. He showed me what he was doing, and I'll tell you, I was absolutely blown away. And listen to this. According to JP Morgan Chase, every business day, on average, more than 3,000 properties are sold at tax sale all across the country. That's every business day, 3,000 properties. And those sales bring in an average of $13,698,630.14 per day. And although much of that money does go to pay the taxes due, a couple of $1 million a day are recoverable funds that can be claimed by the former owner. So that adds up to a lot of money over time. 13.6 million a day, even if just a couple million of that is overages, it's a couple $1 million a day coming to the system. So I got excited and I really dug into this. And it took me a couple years to really get great at this business, but after a few years of focused effort, I really had the whole thing figured out. I've been doing it ever since. I made it into a smooth, pretty simple and straightforward business system. And with over 3,000 properties a day going to tax sale and with millions of dollars left over every day, there's simply no way that I could work with that many people. I can't even scratch the surface of that. So I started showing others what I'd learned so they could do it too. And that's where you come in. The way tax overages works is like this. When properties are sold at real estate tax foreclosure auctions, money left over can be claimed by the former owner of the property. Of course, most people have no idea that any money is available. They think, government sold my property, so I guess they keep the money. And the government, for their part, they certainly don't actively help people reclaim those funds either. It's not like they're tracking you down, knocking on your door with the sheriff's deputy with a check. That's not at all what happens, as you can imagine. In order to get the funds, what people have to do is they have to be aware the money is there, and then they have to go file an application for it. Now, if the former owner asks for that extra money back, the government will give the overages money back. It's no problem. But it's really unlikely that anyone who lost their house at a tax foreclosure sale even knows to ask, because they have no idea that there could be any extra money, and they certainly don't have money to consult with an attorney. And if they don't ask for the money, then the government keeps it. It's that simple. But although it's simple, it's really not fair if you think about it, even for a moment. I mean, that's extra money that really should go into the pockets of the former owner who've lost their home, right? But it doesn't unless they apply for it. So how does this fit in for you? Well, let me show you a deal that I was involved in.